Yo, what up, I'm Juju, and this is gonna be my final Rec Room video.
What is going on, everybody? Kid Me here, and we'll see you guys read the title, and yes, unfortunately, it is true. I will be quitting Rec Room.
You see the title, and sadly this is true. I'm quitting Rec Room.
Now I know most of you have probably heard the drama of when people quit Rec Room, but today I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of my opinion about it.
Custom rooms are one of the biggest innovations in Rec Room, and honestly, that's what made the game so popular. They let creators pour their heart and soul into their rooms, from quests and PvPs to horror maps and arcade-style games. Rooms like that were what kept players coming back. From 2018 through 2019, we saw a ton of amazing rooms being created, and even in 2020 through 2021, there were still some good ones. But then around that time, things started shifting. The play tab began to fill up with low-effort rooms, especially with the whole ignited room issue. That's when the community spoke up, but nothing was really done about it.
I can agree with this one. All the rooms are super low effort, especially with the United stuff. I can agree with that. Really, no one is trying. Come to think about it, I am really surprised Rec Room hasn't, got a lawsuit yet or a copyright, whatever. Even though you're technically allowed to make whatever you want in the game. If you have recently looked at either the store or the rooms, you would see that there's a lot of SCPs or Star Wars, most importantly Squid Game, pretty much a lot from TV show streaming service can original work. See, if you were to make a parkour, you would be making something that has already been done. Or PvP, that's pretty much done. Like, any PvP you would like to go to is probably in Rec Room. And the whole trait, if something doesn't exist, make it exist. Well, that's pretty much dead because everything exists now.
Rec Room Originals used to be great, but lately they just haven't been hitting the same. Rick Rally was fun at first, but lost momentum really fast. Showdown was just a complete mess, and Make It to Midnight was doing well until updates stopped coming, which made it lose players quickly. My Little Monsters didn't do well either, mainly because it was a single player experience, and Run the Block felt more like Stunt Runner 2.0, and it was just easy to finish in a day. The lack of updates for all these games is what made them die out so fast. Players still enjoy other games like Paintball, Laser Tag, and Dodgeball, which shows that the newer ROs aren't living up to expectations. What Rec Room really needs is consistency with RO updates and some fresh ideas. The community's been asking for a new quest for years, but Rec Room just says, we'll make it when we're ready. A new quest would be a perfect way to bring back that excitement, especially now when players are craving something new.
Right, I understand why he's saying this. However, I don't completely agree with it. Some of the games he mentioned, whether it be paintball or dodgeball, those are all opinion based. A lot of people like dodgeball, a lot of people like paintball, a lot of people like laser tag. It really mostly depends on what you like. However though, he's right. The games have mostly been getting boring. I'm sure a lot of people have already played all the Rec Room Originals, played all the quests, played all the Rec Room Originals PvPs. There's really nothing to do but going as far as saying they're not fun anymore. You would have to only be speaking for yourself and not really for everyone. Because personally, as much as I don't play a lot of the Rec Room Originals, if I was really bored, I would go to paintball because, that's fun and I like dominating. Carry on.
The shift from the old Bean Body to this new one with its odd face shape, face positioning, and animation feels like they're taking away all the nostalgia. I don't mind the idea of full body avatars, but what's frustrating is that they're moving everything in that direction and making the Bean Body feel less relevant now. UGC cosmetics have become a huge part of the game, but it's a real letdown that you have to use the new Bean Body or full body avatars to equip them. Even the possibility of a legacy option for the old Bean Body seems unlikely, and that's pretty disappointing.
I really don't have anything to say here, considering I don't really like, designs for the beans, nor do I even like full body avatars, so mostly I agree with everything he says.
Rec Room has an issue with listening to the community a ton. Like how they didn't care about how the community felt when the weeklies were removed. They just moved on like it was nothing. And that had a huge impact on the game that made a lot of people upset till this very day. They really don't notify the community about a lot of things and just kinda do things without the community's opinion first. Which is saddening since what they normally do stays even after the community voices their thoughts, feelings, and opinions. I really do wish they could at least let the community know about stuff before just doing it. Because who knows, it could be something that affects someone's room, the maker pen, or even leagues. Like when they added controller hand offsets in the settings, people could literally just cheat now in games with a longer reach.
So a lot of things that Rec Room does is just already isn't good. So adding listening to the community into the blend is just diabolical. There's no way that's gonna happen anytime soon.
I feel like split tests exclude a large portion of the player base, and it can be frustrating whenever the person who gets the split test doesn't even care about the changes being tested. It's like half of the community doesn't get to experience something new just because they're not a part of that test group, even if it could improve the game overall. It would be better if they could find a way to involve more of the player base in meaningful ways so that everyone can at least get a taste of what's being worked on. The whole point of testing things is to get feedback, but if only a fraction of the players are involved, how can you get accurate and broad feedback on whether the change will be a good fit for everyone?
So depending on the split test is what really matters. Considering how most of the player base is split up in categories where either A will get this and B will get that, or B will get this and A will get nothing. So it just really depends on what they're doing and what they're rolling out. Eventually in the end we all get it, so split test doesn't really matter to me, but to a lot of people it can impact a lot on them.
Contests used to bring the community together, inspiring players to create amazing video, art, and build projects. Unfortunately, Rec Room has been really inconsistent with hosting contests, leaving a lot of creators feeling demotivated and disappointed. I think having more build contests could help highlight higher quality rooms on the hot page. The prizes could also be more unique and valuable, maybe even like a little badge for winners. As a video creator, I really miss video contests, and I know a lot of others do too. They encouraged creativity and gave us more motivation to post. Hopefully Rec Room brings back contests on a more consistent schedule because they really made a difference in the community.
Okay, so personally, I never really entered any of these contests, not a single one, but I do understand how it would be really motivating to, post or build or even do circuiting. As a, I guess, new content creator, I can kind of see that. However, when it comes to motivation, you shouldn't rely on one simple thing. You should rely on multiple things, not just posting, but you should care about mostly your family, but you should care about your fans, the one that should really motivate you to do more, content. But if you're just focusing on, contest, and that's the only reason why you really need to get that checked, because that's just, you don't care about your fan base the way you think you do. But if you truly cared, motivating to you wouldn't just, be contest. Now that's not saying that's what, that's not what he's saying, but I'm just saying, don't just rely on one thing to motivate you. Rely on multiple things. Even rely on yourself if you have to.
Rec Room barely interacts with its community. I mentioned this in my last video, but the last real engagement I remember was when they brought Double Shot back to the bow, and they finally added Crescendo to Quest. And even that took way too long, which just highlights the lack of interaction. I really wish Rec Room engaged with players more. Things like community polls or interactive events could help a lot. It would be great to have the whole community come together for something big, like the League of Heroes, but with actual cool stuff instead of just some lame obby. At first the lore seemed interesting, but it quickly became clear that it was just a way to push more cosmetics.
Is the lore actually going to lead to something instead of just selling cosmetics?
No.
That's pretty much everything I wanted to say. Rec Room isn't what it used to be, and I wish they'd do more to make it better. But honestly, in my eyes, things have only gotten worse. At first I thought I'd just make less Rec Room content, but now I've decided to just stop entirely. I'm not happy with the game anymore, and I'd rather focus on things that actually make me excited to create. Rec Room clearly has a vision they're pushing for, but they just don't seem to care how the community feels about it. And that just shows how much the game has changed. I really wish things things had turned out differently, but it is what it is. Rec Room, I wish you good luck, but it's time for me to move on. I appreciate everyone who supported my Rec Room content, but this is the end of that chapter. From now on, I'll be making content on other VR games like Bone Lab, Blade and Sorcery, Phasmophobia, Gorilla Tag, and more. That's all for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
I can see how it's frustrating seeing that, like, the people that made the game made me want to talk to them, whatever, but they're never on. Well, one, I'm pretty sure they have a thing on their profile where you can't really see if they're on or not. Two, they're dead, so half the time they're probably not on, looking like their AMAs or whatever. And honestly, there's really nothing we can do about that. The Yellow is a decent game, in my opinion, so which is me having all the time. One more thing, saying that the room or the game doesn't make you happy, like in the way he did, kind of makes me mad. Because yes, it might not make you, motivated or excited now, but just like saying it like it's all their fault. Saying it like, it's mostly their fault for you getting the game, and at the end you would just not be happy. Super messed up. If you have to care for one thing, at least care when they used to make you happy. But now, I'm assuming a lot of people just don't care about the game, and I wouldn't be surprised if the game gets closes in, I want to say, 3 years, because the game's still pushing strong. But just goes to show how much, people can be so rude and disrespectful to the game when, as much as, they give us stuff we don't ask for. If they wanted to, they could shut the game down themselves. They have enough money, honestly. But they don't, because they actually do care about the community. But in our eyes, they're not listening. In their eyes, they're doing everything they can. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're mostly focusing on the glitches. Maybe that's why. Maybe they should stop, working on stuff that we didn't ask for. And maybe, work on the glitches. Like, maybe glitch walking. Or, I don't know. Maybe glitch walking. No clipping. Oh, hacking. Anyways, that's pretty much it. But before I go, I want to say, this has nothing to kind of do, but Rec Room really doesn't care where Madden VR had to post this video right here. Enjoy. And see you in the next one.
I, Coach, apologise for Rec Room's direction lately. We have not been listening to our community, and we'd like you to know we hear you. Sometimes. We want to start our apology with the first topic. We are proud to say we fixed over 300 bugs in Rec Room. It added 400 more, but those are just the updated bugs.
What? Updated bugs?
We also want to apologise for adding too many new paintball maps.
What? No, you didn't add any maps at all, for years!
Oh, well, we're still sorry that you want more paintball maps that we can't provide. But we did add more cosmetics. Also, you should be the one making content for the game anyway, not playing paintball. I mean, we just fired 16% of our company because the AI Maker Pen should replace any work we need to do.
What are you talking about? What about the weekly challenges? Apologize for that, or something, I don't know.
Right, look, just like you didn't ask for any update we brought, you also don't need to ask us to remove a feature you actually like. It's part of the balance we want to bring to the community. Speaking of unbalanced, we also want to apologise for Rec Rally.
Oh, thank God.
We are sorry nobody plays it.
Bro, what? There's one track. One track!
There's only one track because it's an infinite loop. Infinite loops equal infinite replayability.
No, that's infinite sadness. What about the Battle Pass in Rec Royale?
We would make a Season 2 for the Battle Pass, but too many people ask for that, which means it's an overrated idea. Plus, we added more cosmetics.
Ain't no way, bro. Are you at least going to get rid of the hackers ruining every event?
No, but we did get rid of 16% of our company. Basically, if you're not making us cosmetics, then you're not giving it your Rec Room best.
What?
And speaking of leaving our ecosystem, we notice a lot of RecTubers quitting. So we want to go back to our roots and start focusing on improving what really matters.
Thank God. What are you gonna do? Some YouTuber collabs or something?
No, but this is a great time to announce the release of the new feature no one asked for. MakeApen AI. Great for spawning inventions and saying undo, not actually for building anything. But Roblox did it, so we have to copy that off them.
Oh my God, you're not even following the script. Why aren't you reading the script?
Because that's not W-Skibbity. That would be like listening to our community. Why would we do that? Plus, we added more cosmetics. We promised moving forward that we would give it our Rec Room best, so you can have the best Rec Room experience moving forward. At the end of the day, we may not deserve your forgiveness, but we do deserve your wallets. And if you weren't satisfied with this apology, we bundled a second apology video pack for 3 easy payments of $49.99.
What the